I guess we're ready to begin. In talking with Angelique just now, and I don't know how she does the schedule that she keeps anyway, but she had some technical difficulties with her computer. Maybe sometime like it's time for a new computer, possibly. So as a result, we're not going to have the program that was supposed to be printed out this evening. But I think that'll probably work just fine. First on the agenda today, we have Dr. Maria Corey, and she's also got a presentation that she's going to share with us that I'm going to be operating. And so, without further ado, I'd like to have you all welcome Dr. Maria Corey, and she has a very, very interesting and moving story to share with all of you this afternoon.
Thank you very much for coming here today. I am a Greek person born in Greece. I grew up in Denver, Colorado. I went to a small Greek college, Helena College in Boston, Massachusetts, where I met my husband, who's Palestinian. So this is how a Greek will end up where currently I'm actually on the other side of the wall because we're completely closed in by Israel. But I wanted to show you some slides from my village. I live in biblical Ephraim. You won't find it on any map as our modern name, Taibe, but our biblical name is Ephraim, found in the Gospel of John 11, verse 54. We're well known for receiving Christ in our village right before his crucifixion. I'm a half-hour drive outside of Jerusalem, but on the other side of the wall, 15 minutes from Ramallah, that you hear on the news, the Palestinian city of Ramallah, but I can't get there in 15 minutes because 2,000 the Israeli settlers have shut down our road, so we can only use the backward roads. It takes me over an hour to get to the city. In 2001, it was taking actually 2 hours because of the roadblocks. But we try to continue being peaceful people under very harsh conditions. So in the Gospel of John 11, verse 54, we read Jesus wanted to escape from the Jewish community. He came into an area called Ephraim. We took on the modern name Taibe in the 12th century from the Islamic leader Salah ad-Din. When he visited the area, the local Christians continued to listen to the gospel of not just love your neighbor, but love your enemy. So after he finished conquering, they still fed his horses and his soldiers, and he made a comment, "You are Taibin," and in Arabic means you are good people. And so our oral history says we picked on the modern name Taiba. Even though before Christ's entry into Taiba, 5,000 years before Christ, we are one of the most ancient places in Palestine. Our Aramaic name in the Old Testament, Ephraim, is mentioned more than 11 times, and our Hebrew name, Ophrah. So in the Old Testament, we're mentioned many times, and we always ask people to come and visit us, since we are one of the most ancient places in Palestine. When St. Helen was looking for the true cross in Jerusalem, and when the local Christians must have told her that Jesus was received in this village, we know this is the reason maybe she would have built also the first church in our area. It's named after St. George because Constantine the Great was the first one to name churches after St. George. And this church was built at the same time when St. Helen asked for the Church of Nativity to be built in Bethlehem, and the churches in Jerusalem. The mosaics on our floor match the mosaics on the floor in Bethlehem. So we have this beautiful, rich history of Christian presence for 2,000 years. And having survived many wars, many occupations, and currently the 50% unemployment. However, out of the 5 million Palestinians that live in Gaza and the West Bank, we're less than 2% that are Christian, and of course we live next to 6 million Israelis, 5 million Jews, and 1 million Israeli Arab people. Again, less than 2% Christian presence inside Israel. Our patron saint is St. George. Our village has less than 2,000 people that live there, but before 67 we were over 5,000 people. Again, people can't handle the terrible conditions. This is our Church of St. George that we pray in today. It was built in 1931, renovated with the new gate and a new bell tower in 205, partly to create jobs for people that work in labor. Our parish priest is Father Daud Khoury. David is the name. My husband's name is also David Khoury. He's the mayor. Every firstborn son gets the grandfather's name. Their grandfather was the parish priest, so they're very proud to be part of. Khoury in Arabic means priest, by the way. The most celebrated, beautiful feast day for us is Palm Sunday, where all Christian denominations would march in the street in an ecumenical procession to remember the glorious entry of Christ into Jerusalem. Although the majority of the Christians in Tibet are Orthodox, in addition to the Greek Orthodox, we have Roman Catholic practice, and there we use the word Latin Church to describe Roman Catholic practice, and the Latin Church has also a school from preschool to 12th grade, and the Orthodox Church has a preschool from 12th grade. And our Melkite Church, there locally, we say Greek Catholic, and it runs a small little nursery school for toddlers. On top of this hill is a small chapel built by a French monk. It's meant to bring people to overnight cheaply so they can go out and see the biblical sites. But unfortunately, since September 28, 2000, with the great cycle of violence that began in the Holy Land, we have very few pilgrims. We do have 2 guest homes for people to overnight in Tibet. One is old, and it's run by the French nuns, so for about $20 each evening, people can overnight. The new guest house is about $25. It's a project of the Roman Catholic Church. Both have just 16 rooms, but if you double up, it could be good for about 30 people. We have many historic buildings in Tibet, 248 old abandoned buildings. So one of the successful projects that we were able to bring in since my husband has been mayor is a grant of $300,000 from the Spanish government to renovate these old homes, and this created work for people, and this helped us preserve the beautiful Palestinian architecture and a beautiful historic area for people to visit when they come into the village. Since 1967, our area, the West Bank, has been under Israeli military occupation because we have no freedom of movement. On all of our mountaintops, we have small, getting now to be large, Israeli illegal settlements. These domes on top are in the highest mountain, Mount Tel Aswar. This is in the village of Tibet. The military has taken this over so they can see the whole geographic area. Illegal Israeli settlements means in Tibet we don't have water Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days a week. The water is shut off, but settlements have water 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. They have special bypass roads we as Palestinians cannot use. We need a permit to get on those roads. We need a permit to get into Jerusalem. Since 2000, because of the great unemployment and Israeli closure, people have turned to their olive trees to harvest them and to sell the oil. So it was a huge, big destruction when the Israeli army has destroyed, since 1967, more than 1 million trees, 500,000 of them between 2000 and 2003. Not only is this a great big destruction to the livelihood of Palestinians, but just to Mother Nature, to uproot trees that have been there for 500 years, some 700 years. These are just some old artifacts from the old olive press. Now we have a brand new olive press donated to us by the Bishops' Conference in Italy. So we have all 16 surrounding Muslim villages that would come